sense that it's a women's only fun run race rather than a pure race. And the idea of the fun run has captivated the imagination of the women all over the country and overseas as well. I think it's just a euphoria that's been created over the years, the interest that the girls have, the social aspect that it's created, because there is a social aspect of it. The girls just don't run today the 10K. They're running with each other during the week, twice a week, and in some cases 3 times a week. They're talking to their next door neighbour who they never talked to before, since they started taking up training for the Evening Press Women's Mini Marathon. There's a whole new scenario there of social activity for women.
Warm-up. We're just warming the girls up at the minute, and then we're going on to a bit of stretching after that. Very important to have a proper warm-up and stretching beforehand, okay?
We're only here for the beers!
Fine girl you are, only there for the crack. But there were those with a more serious approach, attentive to every aspect, their background training, their diet, their warm-up on the day, and to what lies ahead.
The course itself is suited to the elite athletes and very much suited to the fun runners and joggers. It's a wide open course and very little hills in it. The only real hill in it is Nutley Lane, and so there's not going to be really very tough for anybody on the day.
Now today it's quite mild, but you've been around the course. Are there any windy spots that the athletes will have to look out for?
The course is super. We've been running it since 7 o'clock this morning. The conditions have been perfect. If we absolutely asked for this, we were down on our knees praying for the sort of conditions last night, but in fact the weather has come up trumps for us today.
Not too warm either, which is important.
It's perfect. As a runner myself, I would certainly appreciate a day like this for running in. Certainly it looks like it's going to be a very fast time today.
Oh, what about the top athletes today? Who can we look out for?
Well, my favourite today might be Niamh Murphy. Niamh has been second twice in the last couple of years. Looks very strong. Ran well in Cyprus last week and should do very well today. An outsider yesterday was Teresa Duffy, but we heard this morning that she's injured with her back. So, and we have a couple of Belgian girls, and so they're always going to be dark horses as well. And there's a couple of other well-known runners that are going to do well, Mary Donoghue and people like that. So, you know, it's a good, classy field today, and I think it's a strong, open race. I think it's probably one of the most open races we've had for a long time.
Niamh, you have to be favourite for today's race. Well, with a bit of luck, I've had a third and a second over the last couple of years, so it's about time I won the thing, I think.
And you've been training the last week or so in Cyprus?
Well, a bit of training and a bit of socialising, I suppose. I was over at the European Club Track and Field Championships over there last weekend, so...
The new course today, what do you think of it, or have you been round it?
It's excellent. It's as flat and as fast as you could possibly get. Perfect day. You've no excuses for no fast times today.
Well, the record field of near to 20,000. They seem to have something of a false start there, but they're on their way. And in the centre of picture in white, leading, is Patricia Griffin, who has won the race twice. She's from Leitrim. On her right is Susan Jenkins, Mary Braley in pale green, and in behind Patricia Griffin, Rosie Lambe in black. As we look over, in centre of picture there in white is Lucia Spiga from Navan, and they're settling down to an early pace, Catherine.
They're settling down very steady, and it's unusual to see Patricia Griffin in the front at this stage of a race. Patricia's only getting back after the birth of her daughter some 9 months ago, so she wouldn't be in quite top form yet. And Niamh Murphy just forcing her way into the front. Now, a false start can have a very unsettling effect on an athlete. You're all prepared to go, and then suddenly somebody moves, and you spend 2 seconds or so on the line wondering, should I go? Is it a false start? And then you decide to go, and that can unsettle you, and it takes time to get into your running.
About 400 metres gone now. Niamh Murphy taking the lead with Catherine Smyth and Carol just in behind them, and Rosie Lambe. So it's a 10-kilometre race, 6¼ miles approximately. Conditions are ideal. It's mild, overcast, but the sun struggling to get through. So Niamh Murphy putting on the pace there in front. She's been second in 91, third in 92, and obviously out for a win today. and doing what she has to do. She needs to put on a good early pace to be clear of some of those behind her. So a group of the top club runners there making a break between those behind, although everybody there has some aim in view, Catherine.
Well, everybody has some aim today, and most people will be out for a personal best, although that can be very difficult to achieve in a race of this magnitude with 20,000 on the line.
Well, the great attraction of this event is that it's an all-women's race and the distance is manageable, only 6¼ miles, even if one has to walk. But the girls up front with serious business on their mind. Niamh Murphy in the lead, ahead of Catherine Smyth, who is running on her shoulder, with Rosie Lambe in behind, and then Mary Braley. 3 minutes 20 for the first kilometre. The pace is still steady as they go through Ballsbridge. Rosie Lambe there, who represented Ireland in the 10,000 metres in the 1987 World Championships, running inside of Mary Braley. Then Sharon Leon from Walkinstown and Susan Jenkins of DCH, and the pace is very steady, Catherine.
I think we can get an indication of how steady the pace actually is, that all 6 athletes are now together again. When we turned into Ballsbridge, we had a group of 4 slightly ahead, but now we have a group of actually 6 athletes. And Anne Carroll is even regaining contact.
And this group now well ahead of the field. But there's the picture that tells the story, the great emergence of women in sport in Ireland. Pursuit of fitness and the great social atmosphere, of course, thrown in with it. It's a remarkable change from the early 50s when women were forbidden to run in shorts at an international sports in Lansdowne Road. You remember that, Catherine?
Not quite, Brendan, but fortunately things have changed for the better. As we look at Ruth Ridgway, one of the many girls who's come into the sport with the boom in women's running.
And another girl who came in on the fun run boom, that's her to the left of picture, Catherine Smyth, and she really has done very well at the top of women's running. She's just in behind Niamh Murphy in the centre, and on the inside, Rosie Lambe. And the incline up Nutley Lane alongside Ellen Park Golf Course has made the difference to these 3 girls. They've pulled away on it. Mary Braley now about 10-15 metres behind and struggling. And up ahead of them and fighting to catch Patrice Dockery and Heather O'Hare in the wheelchair race is Colette O'Reilly on the Belfield flyover. And behind her, Lorraine Gallagher. Then behind Lorraine, Brona O'Hanlon. And the 3 leading runners hit the Belfield flyover. At the halfway mark, they were 17:38. And Carroll, the famous Tullamore Harriers Club, has moved up into 4th. So these heading on the way home now and for the medals. As we look back and see those who are content to jog towards a personal best or just finish the race or help a charity. But way up ahead now is Rosie Lambe. She's made a break and gone ahead of the other 2. About an 80-metre gap. Rosie looking very strong and relaxed. Lives in Carrickmacross, born in Dundalk, and looking very confident with about 2 kilometres to go.
And those 2 kilometres will be no problem for Rosie, because she's represented Ireland at many distances, World Championship cross country and the World 15K, and she's also run many a marathon.
Using her experience to advantage, as is Niamh Murphy. Tiring now, though. She's represented Ireland in cross country. She's got a gap of about 40 metres on Catherine Smyth. Catherine tying up noticeably now. A little further back we see wheelchair competitors, and coming on the inside, Susan Lesney in 9th place. She's home on holiday from Australia. Behind her is Olive Bullard of Raheny, and the girl who led earlier on, Patricia Griffin from Ballinamore. Another wheelchair race, Gallagher and O'Hanlon lying 4th and 5th. These are out of the medals, but up front and going for gold, it's Rosie Lambe. And look how composed she is. She's got into a very fluid stride. She knows, I think, at this stage that victory is hers. Yes, she does. She's waving to the crowds. And the effort back to field still being made. Helen Pilo gone through. Mags Greenan and Yvonne Healy vying for the Veterans Prize. But the glory of the day goes to Rosie Lambe from Carrickmacross. The second timer says 34 minutes plus as she goes through the line. The 1993 winner of the Evening Press Church and General Women's Mini Marathon, Niamh Murphy, coming in looking a little tired in 2nd place. That's 2 seconds now and a third to Niamh. And third home is Catherine Smyth. but the day belongs to Rosie Lambe.
It was absolutely unbelievable, the feeling you get when you cross that line. And the amount of people out there on the course was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You didn't go in front or take any part of the pacemaking duties until after the halfway point?
No. Well, I said it was fast enough, so I just said to keep cool and just sit. But I was tempted to go 3 or 4 times, but I held my ground. And I felt great when I went off. There was no turning back. I just kept going, and I felt easy even at the finish.
You never thought Murphy was actually going to get up to you again, did you?
No. I was going to win. I had it in my head I was going to win. So.
What did you think of the course?
It was lovely. No hills. Well, I didn't find the hills anywhere. But a few times now there was a strong enough breeze, even though it paid no, it didn't affect us. But there was a strong breeze. The course was lovely. So.
Coletta Riley holding on to 3rd place in the wheelchair race behind Patrice Dockery and Heather O'Hare. And Niamh Murphy runner-up once again.
Niamh, it just wasn't your day today.
No, I just couldn't do it. It was I kind of took it out from the word go really and felt good all the way. And then I got a stitch with about 12 minutes to go and Rosie made a break. And I did hang on to her for, not for very long actually, a couple of 100 metres, and that was just it. She was just quicker than me in the day. That was the way it went.
Was that part of your plan to force the pace all the way?
Yeah, I've been feeling I haven't been feeling too brilliant to be honest, and I knew I had to take it out if I was going to have any chance. Catherine and I have had a couple of good battles over the last couple of races we've run, so I knew I had to really go for it if I was going to win it today.
What about the course? What did you think of it?
It's a great course. I have no complaints whatsoever with the course. A nice bit of a breeze in our faces a lot of the way, but it's a good fast course. I'm actually surprised the times are as slow as they were. The first mile was fairly slow, I think, but it's a great course.
And a great day overall for women's sport. Victory went to all of those who finished, and all of those who took part enjoyed themselves. Just do what the hat says. She did, and so did the rest.
Congratulations then to all those women and others who completed the race. Well done.